For centuries, the Niger River has flowed like a silver thread through the heart of West Africa. Its waters have carried merchants, farmers, warriors, and kings. Its shores have witnessed empires rise and empires fall. Among them, one shined brighter than all, an empire of gold, an empire of knowledge, an empire whose fame shook the world. This is the story of Mali. The Mali Empire was not just a kingdom, it was a civilization built on courage, trade, faith, and memory. From the struggles of a young boy destined to rule, to the wealth of a king whose riches stunned the world, Mali's story is one of greatness and of warning. Tonight, we journey across 4 centuries of history, across deserts and rivers, through manuscripts and griot songs, to uncover the Mali Empire, the empire Africa and the world must never forget. Before Mali, there was Ghana, the great Ouagadougou Empire. Its kings controlled the trade of gold and salt across the Sahara. Its capital, Kumbisali, dazzled visitors with wealth and power. But every empire must face its twilight. By the 11th century, Ghana weakened, new powers emerged, and among the Mandé people of the upper Niger River, whispers of destiny began. The Mandé world, the land of the Mandé, was rich in rivers, forests, and savanna. The Niger River was their lifeline. It gave water for farming millet and rice. It carried fish and clay, and it became the highway of trade. Clans ruled villages. Hunters, farmers, blacksmiths, and griots formed the heart of society. And griots, the storytellers, kept alive the memory of ancestors in song. The legend of Sundiata Keita. In the early 13th century, a boy was born. His name Sundiata Keita. He was not like other children. His legs were weak, and he could not walk. His mother Sogolon was mocked. His enemies thought he would never rule. But prophecy spoke otherwise. Gretas say, the child of Sogolon will one day be king. As he grew, rivals forced his family into exile. Sundiata wandered far from his homeland. He learned the ways of many peoples, gathering strength, wisdom, and allies. Then came the tyrant, Sumaro Kante, king of the Soso. Sumaro ruled with cruelty, striking fear across the Mandé. The Mandé clans called upon Sundiata, and in 1235, at the Battle of Kirina, destiny unfolded. Griots tell us Sumaro was a sorcerer king, cloaked in mystery, shielded by magic. But Sundiata carried the power of unity. He brought together the Mandé clans under one banner. At Kirina, Sundiata struck the final blow. Sumaro vanished, some say into the mountains, never to return. From that victory, Mali was born, the birth of empire. Sundiata did not rule as a tyrant. He ruled as a unifier. He established Niani as his capital. He brought the clans together in a charter of rights and laws. Remembered as the Kurukan Fuga Charter, some call it one of the earliest constitutions in human history. The Mali Empire was not just a kingdom of land, it was a kingdom of memory, held together by oath, alliance, and the voice of the griots. And from this foundation, Mali would rise. With Sundiata's death, the empire passed through generations. Provinces grew, armies conquered, and trade routes flourished. By the 14th century, Mali stretched across thousands of miles, from the Atlantic coast deep into the Sahara and as far east as Gao. It was one of the largest empires the world had ever seen, but its true power lay not in swords, but in gold. The wealth of Mali, the ground beneath Mali, glittered with riches. Gold mines at Bambouk and Bor supplied nearly half the world's gold. Salt, more precious than silver, flowed from Tagaza and Taoudeni. Caravans of camels crossed the desert, carrying ivory, kola nuts, and slaves. In return came cloth, horses, glass, and books from North Africa. Mali became the beating heart of global trade. The reign of Mansa Musa. Then came a king whose name would echo through the ages, Mansa Musa. Ascending the throne in 1312, Musa expanded Mali's borders beyond imagination. He strengthened its administration, placing governors, the Farbas, over provinces. He secured trade, ensured justice, and promoted Islam as the faith of statecraft. But it was in 1324, with a single journey, that Mansa Musa stunned the world: the pilgrimage to Mecca. Imagine the sight: tens of thousands of attendants, soldiers with spears gleaming in the sun, courtiers in silks, 100 camels, each carrying gold. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca was unlike anything the world had seen. When he reached Cairo, he gave away so much gold that he disrupted Egypt's economy for decades. Chroniclers wrote in disbelief. In Europe, cartographers drew Mali on their maps for the first time, a king crowned in gold, holding a golden orb. Mansa Musa returned not only with glory, but with vision. He brought architects and scholars. He built the Jingwereber Mosque, the Sankore University, and transformed Timbuktu into a jewel of knowledge. Here manuscripts covered astronomy, medicine, law, mathematics, and philosophy. Students from across Africa and beyond came to learn. Timbuktu became the light of Africa's intellectual world, a library of humanity. The greatness of Mali was not measured in armies or in gold alone. Its true heartbeat was in its people, their faith, their songs, their work, and their memory. Mali was a mosaic of communities. At the top stood the Mansa, the emperor, seen as the guardian of justice, wealth, and faith. Below him were nobles and generals, governors and judges. But Mali's foundation lay with its farmers, who tilled the fertile lands of the Niger River Valley, feeding the empire with rice, millet, and sorghum. Blacksmiths, respected as keepers of fire and metal, forged tools and weapons. Hunters, bound by sacred tradition, connected the human world with the spirit world. And then there were the griots, the keepers of memory. Their words were the libraries of Mali, their songs the history books. Every class had its role, every person a place in the rhythm of empire. Mali was a land where Islam and African spirituality walked side by side. The Mansas embraced Islam, building mosques and schools, welcoming scholars and jurists. But deep within villages, traditional beliefs endured: the reverence of ancestors, the power of spirits, the sacredness of nature. This balance gave Mali a unique strength. The Quran and the drum, the imam and the diviner, the mosque and the sacred grove, all coexisted within one empire. In Mali, music was more than entertainment. It was identity. The kora's 21 strings carried stories of kings and battles. Drums spoke the language of the people, rhythms that commanded armies, celebrated harvests, and carried prayers to the unseen. The griots, families like the Kouyaté, held genealogies stretching back centuries. When they sang of Sundiata Keita, it was as if the founder himself walked again among his people. Through music and memory, Mali's culture became eternal. The empire's cities stood as monuments to faith and knowledge. In Djenné, the great mosque rose from earth and sun, its adobe walls rebuilt each year in ceremony. In Timbuktu, scholars copied thousands of manuscripts, preserving wisdom that Europe would not rediscover until centuries later. In an age often called Europe's dark centuries, Africa's Mali was a beacon of learning, law, and light. But even the brightest suns must set. Mali's greatness carried within it the seeds of its decline. The empire that had risen through unity now began to fracture. After Mansa Musa's death in 1337, no successor could match his strength. His son Maghan inherited the throne but not his father's wisdom. Quarrels erupted within the Keita dynasty. Brothers and cousins fought for the crown. Each struggle weakened the empire. What had once been a kingdom of unity became a battlefield of rivalries. Provinces sensed weakness. The city of Gao broke away, ruled by the Songhai people. In the north, Tuareg warriors raided and seized Timbuktu. Trade routes slipped from Mali's grasp. Wealth drained away, and with it power, As Mali struggled within, enemies pressed from without. The Mossi of the south launched raids deep into the empire. From the west, new coastal powers began trading directly with Europeans, bypassing Mali's caravans. And in the east, the rising Songhai Empire, once Mali's subject, grew strong under kings like Sunni Ali. In the 15th century, the balance of power shifted. Songhai armies marched, seizing Timbuktu, Dao, and Jenne. Mali's golden cities were no longer her own. By the 16th century, the empire that had once stretched across West Africa was reduced to fragments. Its capital, Niani, abandoned, its power broken. Mali did not fall in a single night. It faded, piece by piece, kingdom by kingdom. But even as its borders shrank, its memory endured, in griot songs, in manuscripts hidden in desert libraries, in the pride of its people. The empire was gone, but the spirit of Mali was not. Empires rise and empires fall, but the true measure of greatness is not only in borders and battles, it is in what endures. And Mali endures. Mali's story shaped West Africa for centuries. Its gold fed the economies of the Mediterranean. Its laws and traditions influenced kingdoms long after its decline. The memory of Sundiata Keita inspired unity among Mandé people. The vision of Mansa Musa transformed West Africa into a center of global knowledge. The griots kept these memories alive, passing them from tongue to ear, from one generation to the next, unbroken across 7 centuries. In Europe, Mali's fame lived then in maps and chronicles. On the Catalan Atlas of 1375, a crowned African king, Mansa Musa, sits holding a golden orb, proof that Africa was not a land of darkness, but of wealth and power. In the Arab world, scholars wrote of Timbuktu as a city of wonder, where books were valued more than gold. And today, historians recognize Mali as one of the greatest civilizations of the medieval world. But history is not always kind. When European colonizers came, they dismissed Africa's past. They claimed its greatness did not exist. Yet beneath the sands of Timbuktu, thousands of manuscripts survived, silent witnesses to Mali's brilliance. Griots too, unbroken by slavery or conquest, continued to sing the stories of Sundiata and his heirs. In the 20th and 21st centuries, scholars, historians, and Mali's own people began reclaiming this story, restoring pride in a past the world tried to erase. It reminds us that Africa was once a land of kings and scholars, not slaves, a land of cities and laws, not chaos, a land of faith and knowledge that stood equal to any on earth. It reminds us that heritage is power, and that forgetting our past is the greatest defeat of all. The empire of Mali may have faded centuries ago, its palaces fallen, its kings long gone, but Mali lives on, in the manuscripts of Timbuktu, in the griot song, in the blood of millions across West Africa and the diaspora. It is a story of greatness, a story of struggle, a story of memory, and above all, it is a story of us. Tell us your heritage in the comments below, and do not forget to subscribe as we continue to uncover the history the world forgot.